So this assessment level 17 is creating an interactive card, and you're going to make a card to share with someone that you care about, but you're going to have to do some planning beforehand. So let's first talk about things you could make a card for. Obviously, you can make it for birthday, Halloween, fall, just anything like thanking them for being your friend, or if you know somebody that isn't well right now, you could create them a Get Better Soon card. You could create a card just because you like someone or they're your best friend. There are also some strange holidays that you can look up, or daily celebrations, monthly celebrations. Holiday Insight is one of these. So if we go to October, right now you can see like this is Adopt a Shelter Dog Month. National Pizza Month, National Popcorn Popping Month, Seafood Month. And then if you get down into the individual days, you can see, today is the 13th. It is International Skeptics Day. I don't even know what that is. Tomorrow's Be Bald and Free Day, National Take Your Parents to Lunch Day, National Fossil Day, etc. So there's all these things that you could choose to do something about. Just has to be school appropriate. So you're going to pick a reason to give a card or to create a card. The requirements are quite extensive for this. You need a background drawn using at least 3 shapes, at least 3 sprites, at least 3 different sprite properties updated in the draw loop, so X, Y, rotation, or scale. Needs to respond to both keyboard and mouse input. Multiple conditionals inside the draw loop that control the flow of the card, so if-else blocks, or just if blocks. At least one variable is used and its value is updated during the program, so think speed, rotation, something that you would be using within the program. At least one variable or sprite property uses the counter pattern, and then text on the card explaining how to interact. Now, a fun thing to do with these cards is to have some sort of surprise that occurs when you have done something like a certain number of clicks. So I'm going to show you some examples that students have made in the past. So here's a Halloween card that was created by a student last year. This one was an A-B. It didn't have the variables in it, but it does have some other things going on. So you can move Pennywise the Clown left and right. Spacebar turns, it says right here, spacebar for an Easter egg, and then H to reset his rotation. Oh, he's already gone, so I can't really set him back. And then if you click on each of the balloons, there's a different scene that shows up. You have to reset and run it, but each one has a different one on it. So that was one example. This one is all hand-drawn, which was really neat. Also doesn't have the variables in it, unfortunately, but it's still cool. So if you shake your mouse over these clouds, they get all excited. And then your arrow moves these to defeat the villains. So what I liked about this one was the hand-drawn parts, that it has the mouse and the keyboard input, and it has multiple sprites. Still missing that variable piece, but still was a pretty decent job. Here's a birthday card. And this one has, again, no variable in it, so this one, wasn't the A level, but you shake over these and they move. And then it says click the presents to reveal your gift. Click other keys like the arrow and space to see what happens. So if we click, there's the gifts for your birthday. the arrow keys make the dog move. The space made a big cupcake. This was a birthday card for her friend. Made that come up, so a cute surprise in there. Annoy Your Sister Day. This one was funny as well. This one also, no variables in it. That was a newer thing. So you click and it makes all these memes go away. And then you get this, and then you can control the dog and right-click on the mouse to bring them back on the screen. Here's one that actually used the variables that were required in it. So this was a straight A project, did a good job with it. This one has, it keeps track of how many times you're clicking it and then how many times the butter is hit. So you run it, these hearts are rotating all the way through, which is awesome. And then you want to, it says click on the pancakes to get a surprise. So you have to click on these pancakes, and you can see that it went 20 is what it wanted. And when it was 20 pancakes, it made those all go away, all their visibility false. And then you could move this butter around, or the pancake stack around to try to get to the butter. And I believe it keeps track of how many times you touch the butter. And then it makes this big pancake thing become the center of the screen. So this was a really good example. And here's a birthday one that's also a really good example. This one has supply count. So it keeps track of how many supplies that you're clicking on. So it says collect the party supplies by clicking on them. So balloon, ball, hat, cake. And then you can move the girl around on the screen, and then all of those came back. So those are some examples for you. So on your planning guide, you're going to sketch out an idea for your card. You might want to put in some of the pieces and label if they're going to be hidden or not and what's going to make them come out. Plan your sprites and what image you're going to use and the properties for each of them. Make sure with the properties that you're planning out the properties that you're going to be changing on here. So for example, like if you're going to make its visibility false, or if you're going to rotate it, whatever it is that you're going to do. And then you need to develop some of those interactions, those if-else statements. So say, for example, it was a birthday card for someone and you were going to have all of these supplies that they clicked on the screen. You would say if it's clicked on, or if hat clicked on, add 1 to supply count. If balloon clicked on, add 1 to supply count. And then you would need one that said if supply count equals 4 or greater than or equal to 4, then all the other stuff would become visible. And you can see for the grading that you need to meet these requirements and exceed them to get the A. So maybe adding maybe more sprites that move around, or doing a really intricate scene in the background, using lots of variables on it. It needs to work obviously the way you set it to. You need to fill out the planning guide, and the new one on here is that the input and output are working. So you're using both keyboard and mouse input for this program. Once you have completed your guide, you can hop over to lesson 17, and in lesson 17 you can see I will add a really good interactive card that's been created in the Google Classroom that you can see the, not the code for, but the planning guide that's been filled out really well. And then you can start building here. They give you an example to look at right here, and this is the birthday one where the mouse is shaking and it's counting how many times you go over it. And then now this doesn't have the mouse and keyboard interaction because that's something I'm looking for. You can start, you can look at these other examples that are in here, or you can jump right into your project work You can follow along and do the project work the way where they have you do it step by step. I like doing that because it makes me think about each of the pieces and make sure I'm not missing anything. So you would just follow along all the way. 9 is a reflection, so 8 is where you're going to do, if you're just going to do it all together, do it in 8. And if you get done with it before class time is complete for you, then you can try to add some more stuff. So sound effects are kind of a neat thing that you can try to add in if you would like to. Sound effects are in the world. So that would be a really neat A-level addition to your card.